currently I'm working as a Pega developer, and I just want to understand like what is data scientist. I hear a lot of positions on this new tool or technology. I just want to understand like what exactly is this. So that's why I just requested to join.
Okay, great, no problem. Okay, give me a second. So in a minute we'll start. Okay, so just give me a minute. All right, let's start the session. Okay, so first of all, see, Shrikant, I would like to tell you, so data science is a very emerging field, and right now, artificial intelligence, right, that which is a part of our data science, is in the market. It's not happening in the market. Actually, these are in the market because robotics, automation, artificial intelligence, these are the future, right? Because we are moving towards the world, or we can say we are moving towards the era where the technology or the software or the computer are going to do the work which humans are asked to do till now. Okay, now coming to your question that about the demo sessions, we already have conducted a demo session. After that, we already started the regular class. Monday, on the occasion of holiday, we didn't conduct the class yesterday and on Monday. We already we started with the regular classes, right? So what you can do is that today you can attend the regular session which we already started, and for the brief idea that what exactly the demo data science is, what data analytics field is, I have clearly explained in the demo session. We had the two demo sessions. You can just refer to those videos. But today, because as Havan said, we already have started with the regular sessions. Got it? So we have to go with the same agenda, and we have to go with the same routine for the rest of the students. Okay, got
Sure.
it?
Yeah.
At the
Sure.
end, still, if you want anything, any questions, you can let me know. Because see, already we have started, right? It's been a week, right? So we cannot switch back again to the same thing.
Right. Right. Understand. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sorry for that. Okay, but still, if you have any questions, at the end, we'll definitely come back to you. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Sure.
good morning once again, and I hope you all doing good. So let's start. So happy Holi, even it's a belated one, but still happy Holi to everyone because we are still in that moment of Holi, right? I hope and I bless that your life also is filled with the same colors, different colors, and you have a very colorful life. Okay, let's start March. Let me present the screen. I guess we already started. What is the date today? Hold on. Just give me a second. Let me open that file so you can use Collab. I hope you have started practicing on the Collab files. February, March. Okay, I guess this is the same one. Okay, already we have started with the initial topic, yes or no. So we had done, but what are the variables? So can you just briefly recall what are variables? So I would like to know from your side, right, Vanush, you were there on that day. So you can just tell me what are variables, or anyone else as well. If you know what are variables, you just let me know what are variables in Python. So variables are nothing but the containers that are used to hold the values or used to store values, right? So now when I say variable, like suppose if I say car, right, car. So I want to hold a value called BMW, right? So this is nothing. This is nothing but a variable, and this is nothing but a value. So when you want to store a value in a particular container, that container is called as a variable, right? So we have done the variable. So now moving on ahead into the different operators, right? So what are the different operators? There in Python, we are going to learn six different categories of operator. Okay. So first operator, what we are going to learn is called as an arithmetic operator. Right. We have already studied in the school. We have studied during our school days different types of operators. So what comes under the arithmetic operators? Can you just tell me what are the different arithmetic operators in Python? So looking at the screen, you would be able to understand only what are the different types of operator. But I want to know from your side, what are the different operators and what they actually do. So we are going to learn six different operators. So first we are learning is the arithmetic operator. Out of those six, first is an arithmetic operator. So how many types of arithmetic operators are there? So you can see the first four, right? First four are the basic operators that we have learned in the arithmetic operators, right? So what are those four basic operators? Addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, right? These are the first four things that we always learn in the mathematics, right? In the arithmetic operation: addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So can you just tell me what are those used for? What is the use of addition? What is the use of subtraction, multiplication, division? What they do? Yes, tell me. What are the use of addition, subtraction, multiplication, division? In your own words, how would you make a sentence? Yes, guys, tell me. If anyone can just unmute your herself or himself and just let me know what exactly it does.
To do the mathematical operations.
Right, absolutely correct. So that is used to perform the mathematical operation. So when you want to add some two operands, right, or two values, you use an addition. When you want to subtract them, when you want to minus them, you use subtraction. When you want to divide them, you use division. And you want to multiply, you use multiplication. So those are four basic operations. Now you can see the rest of the three 5617. If you are known to this terms, it's okay. If you have not heard the words, not a problem. I'll explain you. So modulus, exponent, and floor division. What are those? Okay. So I'll do it practically, and then you'll be able to understand. First, we'll study addition. So I'll use a variable so called as a. Right now, this is a variable. So why are you variable used? I repeat it again. Variables are used to hold the values. When you want to store the values, you use a variable. That is the use of the variable. So a is equals to 10, right? This is the value I'm holding. B is equals to 20, right? Now when I say, when I want to print this value, right, 10 and 20, how do you do that? We know there is a function called as a print. What is the use of print function? Whenever you write something in the print, what it gives as the output is the value that has been holding in the variable. So what exactly A has been holding? 10. So when you print that variable, you get the value what is there in that particular variable. So instead of A, if I say B and if I print it, so I get the output called as a 20. Why? Because when you print that variable, whatever the value is there, it will be printed. Clear? And what you put into the quotes, see now I'm using a quote. So when you say into the quotes, so this is nothing but a static value, or you can say a hard coded value which you don't want to perform any operation. You want to print it is as it is. It's called as a label. We can say label. So label are nothing but you want as it is to be printed, no other modification. So when I say print A, what modification is happening? It is printing the value 10, right? So if I want to print only A, right? See, when I say A, what is happening? I'm getting the value 10. Yes, but if I want to print only A, so how you do that? You use a quote. So when you use a quote, now see, instead of printing 10, what it is printing A. So remember the difference. So when you put the values in quote in the print function, see, I'm talking about the within the print function. Within the print function, whatever you put, it will be printed. If you directly put assign the values, it will print the values which is assigned to that variable. And if you put the same thing into the quote, it will print the static value. Static means what? Whatever you passed into that code, it will print. So you just put on random. So you again run it. It will print that same value what is there in the code. Clear? Till here? Okay. So now let's see. Now print is done. Now what I want to do is that I want to do an addition. So how do you do an addition? So A plus B, the operator for the addition, we all know that it is plus symbol. Now this, the value on the left hand side and the value on the right hand side, they are nothing but those are called as an operands. So I'll write over here. So A and B are called as operands, right? We are calling as them operand. And plus operator, right? Plus operator is an operator. Remember this thing, when you interview, when they ask you, they will be asking. So you don't have to think that why will they ask you the basic question. You never know on what level the interview might check, because people always assume that they definitely check at the higher level and they forget about the foundation. But remember, a tallest building, no matter if you're building a 100 store building or a 150, or no matter how many story building, foundation has to be strong. People forget to look at the foundation. So you need to remember, this are called as an operand. They might ask you what are this called as. So you should call them as an operand. So operand A and operand B with the help of plus symbol. And the best practice is that you, when you're trying to perform any operation, right? This is an operation. What kind of operation? Addition. The best practice is that you always store that operation in a new variable. Why? Because when you want it in further cases, or maybe in the future if you require it, so you don't have to write that logic of code, because this is a logic you have written. Even it's a small logic, but still it is a logic. So when you want to write the same logic, now what you can do is that you can just use that variable. So when you use that variable, what will happen? This logic, what you have written, or the piece of code you have written, will automatically be called. So you don't have to write the logic again and again. This is called as a proper way of coding, right? So now when I say print C, so what I get is an addition. So 10 plus 20 is called as a 30. Got it? Clear? So how you do the addition? So in the similar way, if I want to do the subtraction, what I'll do is that I'll say A minus B and store in a new variable. So if you want, you can just store in such a variable called CD, or you can just use a proper naming convention, SUB, or you can say result, whatever you want, and then print that variable. So when I say result, so I get the subtraction. What is the value of A? A is 10, and what is B? 20. So 10 minus 20 is going to be minus 10. So when I print result, I'm going to get minus 10. And now if I put the same thing, if I put the same thing into the code, now you tell me what will be the output. Now tell me what will be the output. If I put the same thing into the code, so what will be the output?
Itself.
Right. What will be the output? Yes, Chandu, Bhanushri, Shrikant, Mahesh. What do you think? If I extend
It's
a few seconds only, what will
result.
be the output?
Result output will be the
Right, it
result.
will be as it is. Yes, result will be the output. It will not generate the out value what was within in the function. It will generate the whatever the value I've written. So I've written a result in the code, so it will print the result. If you want the values to be there, whatever the result is holding, so you should put out of the quotes. You should not put into the quotes. Got it? Similarly, number one, number two, number one is 100, number two is 50. If I say number one into number two, so what I'm going to get if I say result. See, now here also I'm using result, right? And here also I'm going to get, I'm printing result. But now tell me, if I run this piece of a code, if I run this piece of a code, what will I get? Will I get minus 10? Will I get minus 10? Or shall I get 50 into 100? That is 5,000. What do you think will I get an output? See, I already have used a variable called as a result, right? Where I'm storing, where I am storing the logic called as a minus b. So a is 10, b is 20. So 10 minus 20 is minus 10. So it is assigned to the variable called result. How do you assign? I'll tell you in the assignment operator. It is done with the equal to operator. Okay. So remember, on the left hand side we call it as a variable, on the right hand side we call it the values, right? So even though we or logic, but still these are the values. So then when I print that variable, so I get the output called as minus 10. Okay. So now I move to the next part. Oh, sorry. So when I move to the next part, so you can see I used two variables. What are the variables? Number one and number two. So I have assigned a particular value to the variables. Number one is 100 and number two is 50. So what I did is that I did the multiplication, a normal multiplication with that variable one or operand one into operand two, and I assigned it back to the variable called as a result. I'm using the same variable which I already used in the subtraction. And when I say print result, I want to know what will be the output. what will be the output? The output will be 5,000. The output will be 5,000. Now, why the output is 5,000? If you remember the first line or the opening line, I told you that Python or anyone, whenever you learn Python, the opening line, any trainer or any institution or any organization tells you that Python is an interpreter language. What is Python? Interpreter language. So what I did is that, see, I have run this line of a code. Yes or no? So what happened is that Python will interpret this line of a code first, right? This line of a code, whichever it is gone, this line of a code. After that, it will interpret this line of a code, and after that, it generate an output. Now, what is happening is that when I run this line of a code, right, this line of a code, so Python has started interpreting this line of a code first, right? So this line of a code, this line of a code, and then this line of a code. So what is happening is that when Python reaches at this line of a code, so it did multiplication of two numbers, right? Number one, number two, whatever the values are there, and it assigned it to this value called as a result. So what is going to happen? This function is called as a overwriting. So when it reads the file, so now where the value was -10, now it has been replaced by the new value, whatever the logic I implemented. So what logic I had implemented? Multiplication. So 50 into 100, whatever the value was there, so it got stored into the variable called as a result, and that value was printed, that is 5,000. So this concept is called as an override. So remember, when you use the same variable and if you run the code, so whatever the latest operation you have done and stored in that variable, the latest operation value will be printed. Clear till here? You got the point what exactly I'm explaining? If you have the same variable, but remember, whatever the last value will be there or last operation will be there on the variable, that output will be shown instead of the previous one. Clear? Is it clear till here? Chandu, Shrikant, and Bhanushri.
Yes, it's clear.
Okay, clear. Now in the swimming, moving into the same basic one, division. So what the division does is that division, you see, look at it. Division is the same division we have learned, but when you see division, in the division, if I am using the same values, okay, so I'll copy this part, number one, number two. See, even I have not written here, if I have not written over here, still this, whenever I'm running this line of a code, it's still understanding from here only, because I already ran this code. Only the thing is that it has been separated in the form of cell. This is one cell, this is one cell. But remember, Python has already stored this value into number one, so it will not differentiate. Okay, so but still for the betterment, I'll use here, and when I divide it, you can see the output is in the float. It is 2.0. It is 2.0. Now what happened is that when you try to divide, what it is giving, can you just tell me what it is giving? See, in the division there are four values. What are the four values? One, we call it as a divisor. Second, we call it as a dividend. Third, we call it as a question. And four, we call it as a remainder. So there are four things in a division. One is divisor, dividend, question, and remainder. So when I use division, can you just tell me what is the output? Is it a divisor? It is a dividend, question, or remainder? What will be on the output? Look at it. So when I'm doing the division, what am I getting in the output? Can you just tell me? Is it a question? It is a dividend, or is it a reminder? What it is? So this is a question, right? It is a question, yes or no? So if I say this way, if I say, so in Python, you use hashtag for the comment purpose. So when I say 100, right, 100 divide by 50, right? So what is the value I'm going to get? So remainder here, it is going to be 0, right? If I do it on the paint, I'll show you on the paint. Hold on, and try to explain you in a very much more easy way. Okay, so not to worry. Give me a second. Can you see my paint? Can you see my paint? Okay. So the way I learned division is this way. So when I was in the school, my teacher taught me, if you want to perform division, you need to draw this symbol. This symbol is used for the division purpose. So here, whatever the value is to be divided is written here. So I have to divide the value called as 100. and through what value you have to divide, right? Whatever the value through which you're going to divide, you need to write over here. So the value through which I'm going to divide is 50, so I'll write it over here. So now you perform the subtraction. So 50 ones are 50, 52s are 100. So 2 and then 100. Are you able to see my screen? Yes or no? Bhanushri,
Yes.
Chandu, and right.
Yeah, yeah.
And the output is 0, 0, and 0. So the output, right, which we got on interpreter, right, on the Python, so output was 2. So what is this part called as? What is this part called as? What is this part called as? And what is this part called as? So this is called as a remainder. This is called as a remainder. This is called as a dividend. This is called as a divisor. And the above part, which I have circled, is called as a question. What is this called as? Question. So remember, when we are using Python, when we are using a division symbol, you need to remember you always get the quotient in your output. What you get? You get a quotient in your output. So the output was 2.0. Now instead of 100, if I just change the value to something like 9, okay, and if I change it value till 2, right? Now in 2's table, do we have a 9? No. So 2 fours are 8, right? Then remainder is 1. Then I take it 2, so point over there. So again 2 fives are 10. So the output will be 4.5. See, the output will be 4.5. So remember, when you are using a division, what you get output is a question. Got it? Clear till here? Now coming to the next part in the arithmetic, as I said, modulus, exponent, and floor division. So if you have heard this word, it is okay. If you have not heard, then now let's come to that point. What is modulus? So when you use a modulus, first of all, the modulus is indicated by the symbol called as a percentage. So it is there on your screen. If you go and click on Shift phi or maybe function phi, if you are using a HP laptop, so you have a small keyword called as fn. So click on that fn and click phi, so you get that symbol called as a percentage. So percentage in Python is considered as a modulus. So what happened is that what modulus gives us, what is the written type of modulus is when you divide a value, right? This is first operand. What is the first operand? 27, and 7 is operand 2. So when you divide operand 1 by operand 2 with the help of modulus symbol, you get the remainder as the output. What you get? The remainder as an output. So how you do is that, so I'll just show back again to the paint. I'll switch back to the paint. Okay, so when you use modulus, what you get an output is a remainder. So let's go back to the paint again. So now let's create a new file. So again I'll say this way. So now I'll use the same value, 27 and 7. Now 7 is our divisor and 27 is our dividend. So tell me, 7 ones are 7, 7 to the 14, 7 3 is a 21, 7 4 is a 28, right? So I cannot use 28. So what I need to use is 21. So 7 3 is a 21, 7 3 is a 21. So I'll write 7 3 is a 21. So what is 7 minus 1? 7 minus 1 is 6, right? And 2 minus 2 is 0. 2 minus 2 is 0. So now what it will do is that when you use modulus, so modulus gives you the remainder as an output. What it gives? Remainder as an output. So what is the remainder? So remainder is 6. So look at the difference between division and modulus. When you use division, you get quotient as an output. So if I had used division, so whatever this quotient is there, see 3 is there, 3.5 is there, it will completely divide. It is not that going to stop here only. Here it is going to take 0, and then it is going to take here point, and then again divide by what you say. So it is going to be point. This way, suppose it's a point, and then again 7 7 is 49, 7 is 56. So 7 8 is 56. So it is saying 7 8 is 56. So again it is going to be 4. So even in which case, when you're using division, but in the modulus that is not the case. So when you use that value, suppose I've written 27, right, and I used 7 as a divisor, so it will check what is the value. So 7 3 is 21. So 7 3 is 21. So what is the remainder? 6, right? So whatever the remainder it finds, it will just give you as an output. Got it? So for one, if you have understood or not, I'll do one check. So I'll take a value called as a 31. I'll take a value as a 31 and I'll divide it by 5. So you tell me, what should I write now? So dividend is 35, 31, divisor is 5. So what should I write now? What should I write now?
5, 6 are 30.
5, 6 are 30. So I'll write 5, 6 are 30. So what is the remainder? Remainder is 1. So if I had said 31 modulus, 31 modulus of 5, so what is the output I'm going to get? What is the output
1.
I'm going to get? I'm going to get 1. Why? Because when you talk about modulus, you get remainder as an output. So here in this case, it was 1. So you get the output as 1. So similarly, if you want to check, you can say check 27 modulus of 7. And when you run it, so you get the output as 6. In a similar fashion, if I say 31 modulus of 5, and if you run it, you get 1 as an output. Clear till here? What is modulus? What is addition? What is subtraction? What is division? What is multiplication? And what is modulus? Is it clear till here? Yes.
Yeah.
Now moving on to the next part called as an exponent. Exponent is nothing but you talk in a simpler word we call it as the power, to the power. So when I say to the power 4, so you are saying we need to multiply 2 4 times, or we can say what is like 5 square. So that is like 5 to the power of 2. So exponent is nothing but when you talk about power, when you talk about power. So when I say num1 to the power 2, so now what I'm trying to do is that I'm trying to find the square of this number, right? So exponent, see difference between multiplication and exponent. So in multiplication, we are using only one asterisk. We are using only one asterisk. That means one asterisk means multiplication. So this number is going to be multiplied with this number, operand 1 with operand 2. But when you use two asterisk, that two asterisk is called as an exponent. So what is exponent? Exponent is called as simpler word is called as a exponent is called as to the power, to the power. So when I write 2 here, so number 1 square. So what is number 1? It is 10. So what is square of 10? 100. So instead of 2, if I say 3, so I am going to get the cube of that number. So 100 cube is, sorry, 10 cube is 100. Similar in fashion, if I change the number from 5, 10 to 5, so what is the cube of 5? It's 125. Similarly, if I say fourth of that 5, that number to the power of 4, so I'll get the output 625. Clear? So when you want to find the exponent of a number, you use two asterisks. Got it? So operand and to the power of that number, and you get the exponent. So exponent is nothing but to the power. To the power 2, 3, 4, whatever the power you want, you can do it with the help of exponent operator. Clear? And last one in the arithmetic operator is called as a floor division. What it is called? Floor division. Now, what is the difference between floor division and division? You can see when you get division, when you say division, okay, so when I run it, look at the difference. So when I generate output, the output is 16.5. Okay, so how do I get 16.5? When I divide 33 by 2, so 16 2 is a 32, 1 is the remainder, so 0 at the bottom, then point, and then 2 5 is a 10, so output is 16.5. So when you use division, you get question as an output. Now when I say floor division, so when I say floor division, what happens in floor division? Whatever the value is there after decimal, see what I'm saying, whatever the value is there after decimal will be discarded. Now discarded का meaning क्या है? Discard means it will be removed. So when you run this piece of code, so what is going to happen? See, the output is 16.5, but when you use floor division, and how do you indicate floor division? With the help of double backslash. Single backslash is division. Single backslash is division, and double backslash is floor division. it does the same operation which division does, but the only thing is that the return type or the output is a whole number, a finite number, means a integer, not a float, not a decimal value. Got it? Now here it was 33.33 divided by 2, so it was like 16.5. Okay, but instead of 33, if I say 30, so I'm going to get 15 as output, right? So if I make a floor division, see 30 is completely divisible by 2, not a doubt, no doubt, right? Instead of division, if I make it floor division, and if I run the code, tell me what will be the output. What will be the output?
15 only,
What
without the
15,
point.
right? Okay. So what will happen when you use a flow division? All the values after point will be discarded. So no matter whatever the output is, see, like in the same way, if I say 27 and if I say 7, right, and if I divide that number, so in the, see, now this is a value 3.8. See, now in the division, it has completely divided that number 3.85710. So when I say floor division, see, only the finite number is to go going to be there. That is 3. So what floor division does is that it does the same division, but it discards the value after decimal. So after decimal, whatever the value is there, it will not consider it. So only the finite number, only the will be shown in the output. Clear? Okay, great. Now it's okay. So now whatever I'm trying to do, right, arithmetic operation, I'm trying to in the integers, right? If I'm trying to do it on an integer. So my question is now if I have two strings. Now string means what? String means a sequence of characters, right? A, B, C, D till Z, right? A to Z are called as a characters, right? Or a letter. So now whatever the operations I've done, right? Arithmetic. So you were learning first category of the operators. So I am doing arithmetic operation. So whatever I have done on the integer, right? Even if you do on the decimal, it is also okay, not a problem. There's no problem in that. So, but the question is, if I am trying to do it on the string, see here the output is 3.0. Why? Because we have taken a float value over here. We already have taken a float value. So 27.4 here also we are going to do it 0. So if it is, so if you take any value, it is still going to be in the form of 0 only. So if I say 13.523, it is going to be integer only. The only thing is that we have used a data type. Whatever the value you are passing is an integer. Sorry, it's a float. So it is going to be here. But what happens is that float division always discard the values after point. So no matter if you check it on the as division, the output is different, say 1.89, right? But still, when I use float division, it's still not using 1.89. It is still showing 1.0. The reason, because your input is different, right? Your input is 3.23. So how can you just discard this value at the time of division? Because see, when you're talking about the GST, why I'm telling you, I'm just trying to explain the syntax, a layout. When we are going to move ahead, right? When we are going to work on the real projects, mini project, capstone project. So what is going to happen? This minus fraction is also important. Now, suppose if data set is all about the cells, right? Where there are 10,000 records, and this is like 0.23 paisa, 0.50 paisa. It is of revenue, it's of GST. So you cannot ignore that part. Money is very important, right? If you check at the end, this 0.23, if it's like 1 lakh record, so the output can be different. It can be 1 lakh rupees also. So you can just, because if you just ignore that 123 and you're trying to do a financial analyst, so company will throw you out. Okay, you have ignored. So remember that thing. But when you use a float division, you need to remember the discard, the values after point will be discard. Here it is showing point 0. That means why? Because here we have taken a float value, but still it is discarded. It is still discarded. Clear? How you want to see? If you can want to see, you can check. See, when you do a normal division, see it's 1.89. This value is discarded when I use a float division. Okay, clear. Now, whatever the operation I've done on the integers or float values. Now, suppose if I want to do the same operation on the characters or the letters, right? So if I want to say I have stored A is equal to high and B is equal to Sangram. Now, if I want to do an addition, like same way, a plus b. Till now we have done on integers. If I want to do it on the letters, can I perform the same operations on the letters? Right. So this is a word, right? Hi is a word, Sangram is a word, and I'm trying to do addition. So can I do the addition of words or letters? Is it possible? Yes or no? Just tell me. It is possible. It is possible. So when I say print hi Sangram, and if I print C, it's C. Hi Sangram. This operator is what now performing as it is doing a concatenation. Here the word when you talk about the characters where it is a string, right? This is a string. So when you talk about the integer or float, it tries to do a sum. It does an addition, right? But when it is a string, what it does is that it does a concatenation. Concatenation is what? Trying to join two different strings together. It's not two only. If I use one more string called as a C, and if I say good morning, good morning, and if I say A plus B plus C, and if I store in a variable value called as a D, right? And if I print D, so it is doing a concatenation. See, hi Sangram, good morning. So here, this APC are called as an operands, and this plus symbol is nothing but called as a concatenation symbol. Here it will not do an addition. Here, rather than addition, it will do a concatenation. But this case is only applicable for addition. Now I know you have a question in your mind. So can I do a subtraction in this thing? My dear fellas, you cannot do a subtraction. Since school days only, we have not seen a subtraction. You cannot separate a minus b. How you can separate a minus b, right? Because there is no value holding with a and there is no whole value holding with the b, right? A is in individual value, b is an individual value. So you cannot do a subtraction. But when you talk about the addition, here also it is not doing an addition. Instead of addition, what it is doing is then concatenation. It is trying to join. It's trying to join. So this is like acting like a join, right? When you see like when you want to like there are PVC pipe, right? When you want to join that PVC pipe together, so you use the join in between, right? So that join is nothing but a plus symbol here. So it is doing a concatenation. Getting my point? So it's not doing an addition. Subtraction will never work on the string. It will work only on the numeric data. This is not a numeric data. This is a letter. This is a word. This is a string data. Clear? Now coming to the point, right? So if I instead of this, right, string I understood. Now I want to check if I have written into for in this way. So where is that? I'll write over here code. So I'll write again value or we'll say variable one equals to morning, and I'll say variable two is equals to 100. Okay, the result is equals to variable one plus variable two. So look at it. Till now we have seen the addition, subtraction, right, on pure integers, pure string. Now this is hybridization. Now why hybridization? For one variable string, another variable is integer. If I try to do a addition, or you call as a concatenation, now we don't know it's a concatenation or it's an addition. Why? Because if it was a number we call it an addition, if it was a string we call it as a concatenation. But now it's a mixture of string and number, so I cannot say it's going to be an addition or it's going to be a concatenation. If I run this piece of a code, what do you think what will be the output? What do you think? Tell me. So you will get an error. An error. Why? Because see, you will get what kind of an error? Type error. So there are different errors. Also try to remember error. So you get a type error. Say what type error is saying. It's also try to justify. It is try to explain. So can only concatenate string, not int to string. This means what? Can only concatenate string, not into string. That means what? when I try to add operand 1, this is operand 1, right, and with operand 2. So what is operand 1? It is morning, right? So now it understood that when it got the plus symbol, so it understood that it is has to concatenate. Why it has to concatenate? Because operand 1 was string. So when it saw a plus symbol, it understood that now whatever the value is going to be on the variable 2, it has to be string. So I have to concatenate. But what it found, that it found an integer value. So that is why it is saying that you cannot concatenate a string with an integer. So remember, when one value is string and another value is integer, you cannot do addition or you cannot do concatenation. So if you change the values from here to here, so see now what you get. So instead of variable 1, I'll write 100. See now, in variable 1, you're going to pass 100. So now see, first of all, look at the output. Type error can only concatenate, it say concatenate string. But when I run this piece of a code by making vice versa, so now see, type error, but look at the explanation. It is saying unsupport operand type for plus int and string. Why? Because see, Python is an interpreter language. So variable first will be considered first. So it is 100. So it is an integer. So it says that here I cannot do addition, right? Because when you talk about the integer and with the plus symbol, we do an addition. And when you use a string and then you use a plus symbol, you do concatenation. So it understood that in variable 1 is this 100. It understood this is a plus symbol. So Python knew that whenever I will find variable 2, I have to do an addition, right? But when it saw that variable 2 was morning, so it was string, so it said I cannot do addition. And if it was variable 1 as a string, so it will say concatenation cannot be done. So remember, you can do addition only on numbers and you can do concatenation only on letters. But if it is a combination of number and a string, you will get an error saying type error. So type error concatenation error or type error unsupported operand. Clear? So subtraction is not possible. Subtraction is not possible. If you want to check, you can do. Subtraction is not possible only in numbers. It is possible, even not in the this value. So if I say hi, unsupported string and string. So it says the unsupported operand type for minus. See, this is not a hyphen symbol. This is minus string to string. That means what? It cannot subtract high minus morning. So I also never knew, right? How can we do a subtraction of words to words? What? All right. So if you was plus, you can do it. It will do concatenation. It will not do addition. So it will say I didn't print the value, right? So I need to print that value. So I'll say var. So it is, sorry, it's not var. It is result. Res. I morning. So addition and subtraction is clear. But now suppose if I say print, say if I say print directly, if I say phi into, let's go to the other part, phi into, and if I say instead of variable, if I'm passing instead of variable, I'll use that variable. Okay, so let's make it easy. So let's not break that rhythm you're learning. So instead of phi into var2, var2. See what I'm doing. I've done it for addition, I've done it for subtraction, now I'm doing multiplication. If I say phi into var2, what do you think will be the output? What do you think will be the output? So this variable 2, whatever the variable 2 is there, what is the variable 2? It is morning. So it will multiply 5 times. So what is variable 2? Morning. See, morning, 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 and morning and morning. So 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I say 7, so it will print morning 7 times. Clear? Multiplication is possible. So now you might ask, sir, what if I write variable to this side and if I write multiplication this side? Arey bhaiya, when you do a multiplication, let's see here when you do number 1 into number 2, you multiply 100 by 50 or you multiply 50 by 100. Output is going to be 5000. It's like the same thing. खरबूजा चाकू पे गिरे या चाकू खरबूजे पे गिरे, कटना तो खरबूजे को ही. In the same way, you try to do a multiplication, either you do phi into that variable or you just try to do variable into phi. The output is going to be the same morning, morning, morning only. Got it? Now, if I just put it into the codes, now you tell me what will be the output. What will be the output?
A variable 2 will be 5 times var 2 because
That's
it's
wonderful.
the string.
Absolutely correct. Thank you, Srikanth. Yes, it's a string. It's a hard coded line, right? So it will print variable 2 5 times instead of 2 if I say 1. Now if I say 1, now it will print variable 2 only once. Clear till here? Arithmetic operation?
Yeah.
Yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I hope it is clear till here. Yes or no?
Yeah, it's
Yes.
clear.
Any question? Any questions till here so far? Okay. I guess no questions, right? Now, whatever I'm trying to do, I am trying to take a static values, right? I can see that I am trying using a variable and I'm trying to pass a static value. Now, can I do the same thing with the runtime value? Runtime is what? Can I just take the values at the runtime? When I run a piece of code, I should get the runtime. So that means what? Now I cannot change this value of variable 2, right? If I want to change the value of this variable 2, so I have to delete this part and then I have to write this way, good morning. This is what I'm trying to change. So again, if I feel to change the value of variable 2, so again I have to come here and I have to say Sangram. So that is what I'm trying to do. Right, I'm trying to make the changes in the piece of code by coming to the logic. Right, this is like something I'm coming to the coding part and I'm changing. Can I just do it at the runtime? So by the runtime also it is possible. How do you do? You do with the help of a function called as an input. Function means what? Functions are nothing but that perform certain set of operations. So when I say what your hand does, right? So what your hand does, what means what? I'm asking what is the functionality of your hand. So you can say my hand is used to write for the writing purpose. My hand is used for eating purpose. My hand is used for changing the channel, for typing, chatting, etc. So what you're trying to do is that you're trying to describe the functionality of your hand. I didn't ask you how your hand looks like. I'm not asking you the texture of your hand, or I'm not asking the skin color of your hand. I'm asking what it does. That means what? Functionality, a set of operation it does. So similarly, when I talk about the function, when I use the word called as a function, that means it does certain operation. So input is a function. So function means what? It will do perform certain operation. So what for operation it does is that, as I said, when I want to have the value runtime, so when I want morning, good morning, Sangram, whenever I try to change it, see variable is the same one. Variable is 2, but the value should be changed in it. So how do you do that? You do with the help of function called as an input. So here, whatever I put, so I'll say enter your name. Enter your name. Okay. So this value, as I said, whenever you pass this value into code, it is a string value, static value. This is not going to be changed. And then you store in a variable, right? So I'll call this a variable called as a name. Okay. And when you say print name, so look now what is happening. Now the text box has appeared, and here the value whatever I have written, see, whatever the value I have written, enter your name. It has become as a label. It has become as a label. I told you, right? In the print also, whatever you pass in the code, it becomes a label. So when I say now good morning, now I get as a good morning. So when I run this code again, see, and if I say now morning, the same code, same what I did, same which I did with the this part. So when I run it, sorry, my cursor is here. Sorry, my cursor should be here. So now I'm getting warning. See, now I'm not going at this place of a code and trying to change the value for this name. What I was trying to do is that I was changing this value and trying to assign the values over here so that the values get printed over here, right? But now see, this is a piece of a code, right? This is a logic I've written. So I am not making any changes to the logic. Whatever I'm trying to do is that I'm trying to do at the runtime, right? So runtime and see, I'm trying to do that. So when I say Sangram, so automatically value is changed in this variable. See, Now it is holding Sangram. How? Why it is holding Sangram? Because see, it's the print, that is why it printed. So instead of Sangram, if I say again Python, see, we run it. Now this name is not holding Sangram, it is holding Python, right? So previously, which I was doing by going to the logic, or I was going to that line of a code and do it manually. Now the same thing I'm doing dynamically runtime. How do you do it? By using a function called as an input, right? So it's not necessary you need to pass a value, a string over here. So if you don't pass any value also, it is okay. If you run it, only the thing is that that label will not appear, only the text box will appear. So from the text box it will not be clear, right? So proper way, so you can do the same thing. The output will be printed. Only the thing is that when you write something, so it is clear for that a person to understand, right? So just human readable form. Got it? SCRENC. Clear till here? So how do you do at the runtime also? I hope it is clear.
Yeah.
Yes.
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 All right. So let's stop over here. And right, Shrikant sir, you have missed that demo session. You can just go to that demo session, right? And if you wish to continue, because see, we already had started the regular session, right? So we cannot switch back. So that was the only case, right? So still, if you have any questions, you can just let me know. You can ask me if any questions in regards to data science.
Yeah. So the previous sessions, right? So in the chat only you have provided me.
Yes, that the guy, right? The
Yeah.
Harry who has contacted you, you can just reach up to that person, right?
Okay.
And
Yeah.
he'll give you the access to the recordings. He'll give to every single thing, whatever you want. And
Sure.
still, if you pursue with any of the question, you can come back tomorrow and just let me know. At the end of the session, we'll just have a few minutes for you, and we'll sort out your questions, right?
Sure. Yeah. One
Because the
thing.
reason is that because the batch is
Right.
already started, sir. That
Yeah,
is the
yeah.
reason.
I didn't know that actually. I mean, today only I received the chat message and I thought of just join
Okay.
and listen. One
Yes.
question, sir. Actually,
Yes, sir.
this data science, right? So, where
Uh,
exactly we use and what tools we use? Like, I mean, for Java we use editor and all. For Pega we have a Pega
uh,
platform. Everything for this
uh.
kind data science, right? So, what and where
The
exactly?
platform I'm writing right now. We
Uh,
can use Visual Studio. We can use Jupyter for writing a piece of a code, or Colab. Right now, I'm using Colab. The reason to use Colab is that, so what is happening now? This, if you're using mobile, right? Sometimes if you're on a bed, right, and you don't want to open your laptop and you're not feeling sleepy, so at that time also you want to practice the coding, or you want you're traveling somewhere and you don't have a laptop, you want to do the coding. So Colab gives an access that why what you require is an internet and your email ID. So when you type on Colab, so what will happen is that Colab, so it's a IDE, right, environment
mhm,
for writing the
mhm.
piece of a code, whatever the coding you have to write. So that gives an access through mobile. Also, you can do that. But if you talk about Visual Studio, right, you have used Visual Studio is common for Java, any platform,
Mhm.
language platform. So what happened is that that is locally installed, that is available on the system. Even if you try to use my system, it is not be able to. It is your that whatever projects will be there, that will not be open. But Collab is such a kind of thing. What you require is only your email ID. So if you log in through my mobile with your email ID, or log in through Chandu's mobile, anyone's mobile or laptop with your email ID, you'll still get that line of a code what you have written.
Okay.
So that is the best benefit. Yes.
Yeah.
And talking
Yeah.
about where it is used, so you can see whatever the nowadays the things talk about the application. See, Siri already came in the market since long period of a time. You talk about the Alexa, right? So when you give some instructions, commands to the Alexa, so automatically, see, there's no human involvement in it. So when you
Mm-hmm.
say Alexa, change the song. So how previously what I used to do is that when you talk about my father generation, my father had that TV where he used to change the channel with the help of knob, right? After
Right.
that, my generation came. I used to change the channel with the help of remote.
Remote.
Now, what
Yeah.
happens is that now my next generation, my kids are changing with the help of voice recognition.
Correct.
So now you can see in the voice recognition, and you want to talk about the previous two generations. My father used to change with his own hand. That is human involvement. I did change the channel with the human involvement. I am there. But here in the voice recognition, you don't have to use a human interference. What you do is that you just say something to it. Automatically, that application does its job. You don't have to do any human efforts involved with it.
Mm-hmm.
Getting my point? So you
Yeah.
don't have to look for the remote. You don't have to look for anything. You just do it with by some your voice commands, and it changes the single thing. So same thing, right? You talk about the self-driving cars or whatever.
Right.
So that is all the artificial intelligence. So wherever you can say in simpler words or in the better ways, I can say whatever the things or application that is reducing the human involvement is called as a data science.
Okay.
So all the future is going to be a scene. Upcoming 10, 15 years. I'm right now working with Intel. Previously, I was working with IBM. I'm telling you, IBM is trying to plan or build such kind of an cars, right? Applications where you can make the vehicles or the cars which are driving, driven on the road, that can fly in air. That is what their future is, that in upcoming 10 years, in the upcoming decade till 2040, they want to
Mm-hmm.
build the cars which can fly in the air. Now this might think like in a sarcastic type, or you might think like,
Right.
what is this thing I'm talking about? See, because see,
Yeah,
some
it
object, right? If
will
aeroplane
happen.
fly, right, it can
Yeah.
happen. Only thing is that if self-driven car, right, if you can drive a car without a driver, then why you can't make that same object fly in the car, right? If aeroplane can fly, it's the same object, it's the same material, it's the same thing, right? Only the
Right.
thing is that it is trying, the data is required, right? Whatever the data since 20 years, how the aeroplane flies in the car, how the car
Mm-hmm.
is driven in the on the road. So by using that feature engineering, right, we require some kind of engineering with the aeroplane data and some data that with the car. So by doing that hybridization, we try to generate some new output, right? And that is done with the help of the data science. The data science is nothing but data and science. So when you heard the word called as a science, science is all about experimenting something, experimenting. And here,
Mm-hmm.
what is the ingredient? Ingredient is nothing but data.
The
So whatever
data.
the data you're going to give, on that you're going to do an experiment. So it's called the data science.
Okay. So how do you? I mean,
Clear?
so just based on your experience, how do you see this technology, or the whatever we say tool or technology will be there for like next 10 years or 15
Yes, sir.
years? Market.
At least I would say, see, I have a 10 years of experience, at least a decade. I'll tell you, at least till I get retired, this is not going anywhere. After that,
Right.
I don't know. I cannot say. Right? If I'm going to get retired after 20, 30 years, after that, what is going to be in the market, I cannot tell you. Right? Things comes and
Right.
go. Right?
Right.
With the time.
Yeah.
But at least I'm telling you, I'm going to work at least for the next 20 years. And if I'm working on the data science, I'm working on the different platform. So if I got into this platform, so definitely I might have seen some future. I might have visualized something future for myself. Right? Why would I invest my time into such kind of a thing which will not give me a growth? Right? I'll also, if
Mhm.
I talk from my own selfish point, why would I choose a very difficult and hard path for myself as well?
Okay. Yeah.
Right. So at least you can tell, at least say I'm going to, as I said, I'm going to work at least for the next 20 years. At least for the next 20 years, it is not going to go anywhere. After 20 years, I cannot promise, right? I would
Right.
not be, I'll not give you any false commitment just to, because you're attending my session. I want you to join my session, but I don't believe in the false commitment, right? Because if you do good, good will come back to you.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
So
Thanks
not to
for
worry,
the
at least
inputs.
next to 15, 20 years, it is not going to anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any questions, sir?
No, that's all. Thank you so much for your inputs. Yeah. I'll just
Yeah,
go through the
welcome.
previous sessions and
Okay.
we'll.
Chandu, sir. Yeah, you can go through it, but I would say, see, at the some point, if you start learning some different thing, and it's all about learning part. And data
Yeah.
science is definitely the emerging field. So data analyst is there, data science is there, and a lot of people are required. But at then, it depends upon your skills. Right? You already
Right.
have a 15 years of experience, no matter what sector you come from. But definitely, that will definitely put an advantage to your data science part.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you
Chandu,
so much.
sir, you have any questions? You got any? Welcome, sir. Welcome.
No, no
Anything
questions.
else? All right, great. So let's call it a day now. and tomorrow we'll catch up at the same time, that is 8 p.m. IST, and we'll continue the rest of regular sessions. Right from here, we are going to continue with the regular sessions. Okay, so guys, till then, take care and have a good day ahead. Bye bye,
Yeah,
everyone.
thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Same to you.
Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Welcome.
Thank you, same to you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you so much.